Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me today. I'm Chetan Patel, and I'm the Director responsible for our Commerce and Industry business in London, which includes 12 specialisms of Hays. And given you are now all currently looking at a photograph of me, I promise it's a recent one, you may find it hard to believe that recently I chalked up 21 years service with Hays. Now, as you'd expect with a salary wrap presentation, it's fairly data heavy, so I hope you've all made yourself a strong coffee to keep you going for the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. Also, before I start, I thought I'd share with you that I can see the name of anyone that leaves a webinar before the end, and it records it. I'll crack on now and conclude with the Q&A at the end. You can submit your questions via the Q&A box on your screen. So this is the 5th year we've produced our UK guide, covering over 9,000 salaries across 12 specialist areas, and it's based on salary information provided by our 1,800 recruiting experts across the UK. As well as using our own extensive insight, we also launched a survey to track employee satisfaction, employers' concerns, and gather general insight into the market. And this year we received approximately 23,000 responses from both employers and employees. When I spoke about this a year ago, 59% of organisations expected their business activity to increase. 71% said they were planning to recruit. There was a 1.8% average salary increase, and 55% of employees were considering moving jobs in the coming 12 months. And this is pretty much what we experienced in our London business this year. This year, despite the continued economic and political uncertainty, hiring plans, which are the highest since our survey began 5 years ago, are under threat by skill shortages and an increasingly competitive labour market. Those of you that have spoken to any of our consultants recently, I'm confident they will have confirmed that it's become more challenging to find high-quality candidates than ever before. So please all get your violins out, given we're working even harder to deliver you great candidates. Now let's take a look at what our survey results showed in a bit more detail. Starting with the positives. Although there is ongoing uncertainty, employers' business outlook remains robust, and they are optimistic about the market. Excuse me. There's been an increase in the number of employers predicting growth. 62% of employers forecasted an increase in their business activity levels in 2016, pre the EU referendum. 59% last year and 61% this year. And consistent with last year, only 5% expect a decrease in activity. In London, you can see that we share the same sentiment as the rest of the UK. What's particularly pleasing, given we all work in London, is that 95% of the city's employers are stating that activity levels will either increase or stay the same this year. This optimism is also translating into the increased hiring plans, with employers continuing to invest in their recruitment and attraction strategies. Recruitment clearly remains a priority for employers, with 76% saying they plan to hire in the next 12 months. In fact, this is the highest percentage we've recorded in the 5 years of this report, and this is 5 percentage points higher than last year, which for me represents a very positive position given we are in very uncertain times. Tellingly, in London, the volume of employers planning to recruit over the next year is 5% higher at 81%. Despite this positive business activity and hiring outlook, employers are faced with huge recruitment challenges. Employers report that the talent market is at its most competitive for some time. "92% of employers say they experienced skill shortages in the last year. Skill shortages are apparent across many functional areas. Knocking leadership and managerial skills off the top spot is operations and technical skills, which is now the most needed skills for organisations this year. This isn't new news, but let me bring this to life for you. In London, we've seen a particular demand for software engineers within the IT sector, 2 to 5 years PQE within the legal sector, group accounting roles within finance. We've also seen a huge increase for candidates in the 80 to 150k bracket across the board. This is where the real skill shortages lie. To secure the best talent is now becoming common for employers to offer huge sign-on bonuses. Only last week we experienced a 15K bonus for a 70K candidate. These hiring challenges look set to continue as 68% of employers expect to experience a shortage of suitable applicants when recruiting over the next 12 months. The importance of effective recruitment and retention plans is apparent, as 28% of employers do not believe they have the talent needed to achieve their current business objectives. From a personal perspective, I urge you all to look closely at your retention strategy. Do you offer your employees what they need? Do you offer your employees what they want? And do they all have clear personal development plans? As per last year, the consequence of these ongoing skill shortages is being felt in employee morale and workplace productivity. Almost half of employers report that skill shortages have had a negative impact on employee morale. This is an increase of 5% from last year. In London, we're increasingly hearing about the under-resourced teams leaving the workload to be spread amongst the current team. As you'd expect, this then drives staff to look elsewhere for a better work-life balance. 49% of employers say skill shortages have had a negative impact on productivity within their organisation. 41% also reported a negative impact on their ability to deliver projects. And 28% say skill shortages are adversely affecting their organisation's ability to provide a good service to their customers. The skills gap and the competitive environment means there is continued pressure on employers to increase salaries. I talked last year about employers paying over the odds to attract high-quality staff, and 12 months on, this is still very much the case. Last year, 67% of employers expected to increase salaries. In reality, 73% ended up doing so. One of the other contributing factors to salary increases is counter-offers, given employers fight really hard to retain their valuable employees. Whilst this next example may be a bit extreme, it's not particularly uncommon. So last month, we secured a 100K offer for a candidate within the insurance sector. His existing salary was 80K. He was then counter-offered with 120K by his current employer upon resignation. The potential new employer then matched the 120K. The current employer then really threw the kitchen sink at it and offered 140K. The candidate ended up staying and enjoyed a 60K pay increase over a matter of weeks. The average salary increase in the UK is 1.9%, but in areas of increased skill shortages, pay rises have been considerably higher, as I've just talked about. HR personnel have seen an average salary increase of 2.1%, and both the legal and construction and property sector have enjoyed an average salary increase of 2.7%. Looking at the picture regionally, this year, average salary increases in London City were in line with the national average of 1.9%. That said, I've already made you aware that many London clients pay considerably more to ensure they retain their staff. Now, I find this next slide hard to believe, given I personally know very few people who are happy with their salaries. But 61% of employees claim they're happy, compared to 43% last year. Despite higher pay rises than expected and greater salary satisfaction, salary still remains the main reason for employees to change jobs. Employees' intentions to change jobs remain consistent with last year, as over half say they expect to move within the next 12 months. Looking back at these 12 months, 42% of the professionals say they moved role in the last year, and an additional 40% have considered it. Of the 42% of professionals who say they moved role in the last year, the most common reason given was their current salary was simply too low. Among those who do not currently intend to move roles this year, 44% admit a better salary and benefits package would tempt them to change jobs. In terms of benefits, pension provision above the legal minimum was the second most popular benefit after annual leave. As you'd expect, employees have demands, and as I said earlier, my advice is that you give your retention strategies just as much attention as your talent attraction strategies. Let's look at some of their demands in a bit more detail. Employees quite understandably would like better transparency around pay. 79% of employees say it's important that their organisation is transparent about pay, but only 36% feel this is currently the case. Another key driver of employee movement this year is likely to be around career prospects. 53% of employees feel uncertain or negative about their career prospects in their current organisation. In fact, after salary, career progression is one of the main reasons employees are planning to move jobs. Too many employers continue to underestimate the appeal of offering a positive work-life balance and the impact this can have upon talent attraction. Only 18% of employers think work-life balance is important to attract staff, while 30% of professionals prioritise this when considering a new role. The number of employers rating work-life balance as very poor to average has remained fairly static at 45%, showing a clear opportunity for employers to appeal to those looking for a more positive work-life balance. The main request to improve work-life balance was a change in working hours and adopting flexible working. Offering and promoting these options can really help talent attraction and retention. Other benefits to aid work-life balance, such as a generous holiday entitlement, are also attractive. You'll be pleased to hear that the current Hays employees can now vouch for the fact that we've listened to our own survey results, and in June of this year, or last year I should say now, we entered the world of flexible working ourselves. And I can share that my wife is now very happy that on occasions I do the school run, and I did this morning. Work-life balance and working from home feature in nearly every exit interview I conduct. In summary, we've seen that despite the wide uncertainty caused by the ongoing Brexit negotiations, employee confidence in activity for the year ahead remains positive. 2, as a result, recruitment remains a top priority for most organisations, reaching the highest level since our survey began 5 years ago. Continued skill shortages and increased competition from other employers look set to be the key challenges in the year ahead. These challenges may impact negatively employee morale and productivity. Salaries are very much on the rise, but employees are still tempted to move role for a higher salary and a better benefits package. Finally, it's clear that there is a significant active and passive talent pool, but employers need to offer the right salary and benefits package, as well as a positive work-life balance and clear career prospects to hire the right talent. So to close, we have 3 recommendations for employers for the year ahead. 1, invest in your employer brand to compete for and retain the best talent. Standing out is essential in today's market. 2, hire for potential rather than just experience, and really invest in career development programs. 3, as skill shortages continue, looking for talent in the same places every time is no longer a reliable strategy. Employers should implement relevant campaigns that attract talent from traditionally underrepresented groups and review their attraction strategy through our diversity and inclusion lens. So finally, thank you very much for listening today, and I look forward to some questions shortly. Right, I've had one request rather than a question, which was, please can this presentation be sent out? Absolutely, we'll make sure that everyone that's attended today will receive a copy of the presentation within the next 48 hours. I'm just searching through some more questions. Hi, right, I've got a question here. So the question is, how important would you say is reskilling, given the current scenario of organisations not finding the required talent? Yeah, sure, right. So essentially you can't find the right talent in your existing base, and you're asking is how important reskilling is. Well, I touched on it in the presentation. I think it's something that is a recommendation of mine. I talked about hiring for potential rather than just experience, and I think if I think about our own organisation, what we can't find outside, we try and grow within. And a couple of things. 1, we end up with the skill set we're after, but 2, the organic growth really does well for attraction and retention. It's quite a good message within our own business that I can sit here and say our board of directors are all homegrown, organic, if you like. So I think it's a really key one to reskill, certainly. I talked about career development and career plans for individuals. But all of those things feature heavily in our salary guide. Right, another question. Considering competition and shortage of skills, are companies lobbying for easier insurance of Tier 2 visas? I can't give you great detail, but certainly anecdotally, I do know that a lot of companies are. And those of you who came to the actual presentation I did in November, we had a speaker, Nikki Morgan, who's a local MP, who's very involved in Brexit, and she talked about this at length. And I think the long and short of it is, yes, companies are, but I can't really give you any detail on it, I'm afraid. But I've got another good question here. What is the trend of people having more virtual roles and multiple employers? I think my personal opinion is I think we're going to see more and more of this as time goes on. You know, I read a book recently, 100-Year Life, where people are, it's all about you retire from your sort of job at 60 or 65 maybe, and then you reskill, retrain, and you do something else. And I can see portfolio careers becoming a thing of the future more so than it is now. Okay, we've got one final question. Someone's asking if a recording of this webinar will be available. The answer is yes. It's going to be on our website, I believe, within a week from now. So please watch this space on our website. It looks like that's it in terms of questions. So I'd just like to thank you all very much for dialing in. Appreciate your attention. And should you have any questions outside of this, please contact your, obviously myself or your local consultant in the usual way. Thank you very much and have a good afternoon.